Good afternoon. I am Charlie Morgan. Very excited to be with you, Marc, in a runoff. So we are still filling in for him. And normally on Wednesdays you have Jeff Hood, and we love having Jeff Hood. But got a little bit of news I need to share with you about him. Now, he is okay. I want to start by saying he is okay. But he was in a pretty serious biking accident on Monday, Memorial Day. He was biking down Malcolm Bridge Road in Oconee County and was hit from the back by a car. And he's okay. I do want to start by saying that he is okay. By the grace of God, he has absolutely survived. He has fractured vertebrae, fractured ribs, a fractured scapula. Thankfully, when you hear a bicyclist being hit by an SUV, you immediately panic and think the worst. So he's not paralyzed. He doesn't have brain damage. It could have been so much worse. So we are very, very thankful that he is okay. It definitely feels like a prayer bubble was around him to only have some broken bones, but he has been released from the hospital. He is on his way to recovery. He was texting me this morning, let me know that he was going to be listening, and I told him I will do him proud. I'm very excited to be filling in for him, and we are sending him all the good vibes and prayers for a very speedy recovery, but it's gonna take some time, especially that shoulder. I know it's probably going to take a few weeks of not moving, which is going to be very, very difficult, but I'm very honored to fill in for him, and we're going to kick it off with Bart Benton of Benton & Benton Attorneys here in Monroe. And I always have so many questions when we have attorneys, and I have to be very careful not to make this like a personal, one-on-one consultation. But Bart, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Charlie.
So excited. So I understand you have some things we are going to talk about. You are all ready. Where do we want to start? Let's talk about, coming off Jeff Hood's accident. If you're in a car accident, what should you do? And does that differ if you are on a bicycle like Jeff was?
If you're on a bicycle, pedestrian, or in a car, the process is all the same. First thing you got to do is call the police.
Sure.
You need the police to come and prepare a accident report, and hopefully, if you're the one that's injured, putting fault on the other party.
How do you do that?
So one thing, when the cops show up, you're going to give your side of the story.
Okay, so we're not walking up to them in their face, being like, "This is all your fault." Not that.
Yeah. So hopefully, though, if you're injured in an accident, that the responding police officer gives the other driver a ticket, and if they just pay the ticket, that's an admission of guilt, and that can be used against them in your civil case.
I didn't realize that. Sometimes you think you're just paying a ticket just to be done with it, and that's actually an admission of guilt. Good to know.
Yeah. So if you're smart and you get a ticket and you're worried about getting sued, you either want to just fight it and pay it eventually, but if you fight it and plead not guilty and pay it, they can't use that against you in a civil case.
Okay, very good to know. Very good to know.
Yeah, or if you plead nolo, then same concept. They can't use that against you. So what the smartest thing to do if you don't want to drag it out is you get a ticket, you're at fault, you plead nolo, you pay the fine. It's actually better for your points when it comes to the driving points, but also it's not an admission of guilt in your civil case should you get sued.
Okay, very good to know.
But
yes,
NOLO is how does NOLO, is that a little
not a not guilty but not innocent kind of pleading the fifth, if you will?
Yeah,
okay.
It's somewhere in between pleading guilty and not guilty. It's basically saying I'm not admitting or denying it, but I'm just going to pay this to make it go away.
In a day and age where everything is on social media, what should we know about what to do when it comes to a car accident? Should we immediately post about our accident and my injuries and everything like that and, blame the driver? How does, what kind of mistakes can people make, or do they make?
Yeah, people make the mistake of sharing too much on social media, especially after a car wreck or divorce, or even after getting, charged with a crime. In the context of a car accident, though, I've seen this used against people where they say, I was in such bad pain for 8 months after my wreck, but then they've got videos and pictures of them, dancing in the club somewhere.
Not a good look. Not a good look.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that can be something that 100% is used against you.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a defense attorney for insurance companies, and I used to go to people's social media every case, and there would be stuff on there that I could use against them.
Wow. So you search their social media to find things like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's, I'm not the only one that was doing that. That's pretty standard.
Pretty
when it
common
comes to
practice.
these types of cases. Yeah.
So no posting on your
Yeah,
social.
I
be
tell my
smart about
clients,
it.
Don't post.
Yeah,
Do
don't
not talk
post.
about
Good
the
advice.
accident.
Now, in bringing this back to Jeff Hood, he did say the person that hit him, it was, from the back, was the next day charged with DUI, or maybe it was that night charged with DUI. What about DUI charges in Georgia? Like, what do we need to know about that?
Yeah, so there's actually 2 types of DUI. Most people don't know that, but there's DUI, which is what the common perception is, where you get pulled over and your blood alcohol content is over 0.08. That's the most common way to think about it. But there's actually another type of DUI called a DUI less safe, and that's when even if your BAC, your blood alcohol content, is below 0.08, you still can get what's called a DUI less safe if you were driving erratically and the officer believes alcohol contributed to that.
Wow. I'm always worried I'm going to get pulled over for a DUI, and I'm not, but I'm passing snacks back to my kids, or I'm like trying to break up a fight back there or something, like, stop touching me, stop looking at me, and I'm so paranoid that I'm going to get pulled over. They're like, ma'am, you're DUI. I'm like, no, I'm not. I just have 2 kids. It's only a matter of time before that happens.
Yep.
What about, I always hear about this, is don't consent to doing the breathalyzer, or don't consent,
Right.
don't do the field sobriety test. How do you feel about that? What do you tell your clients about that?
I would agree to not do it if you feel like there's any chance you're not going to pass either. There is consequences to doing that. So let's use the breathalyzer.
Right.
If you say, nah, not doing it, then the government technically has the right to suspend your license because you refused it. That's kind of their way of getting you to take the breathalyzer test.
So if you say no, you're in trouble, and if you do it, you could be in trouble either way. So either way, you're in trouble.
Yeah, so don't drink and drive.
That's really what I was getting to. Thank you. Yes, just don't drink and drive is really what the gist of it is. It's illegal for a reason.
Yep. And if you refuse the breathalyzer, they can use that against you in court as well. So they can say, hey, if it got that far, it rarely does, but if it got all the way to a jury, for example, the prosecutor could get up there and say, hey, he didn't, he said no to the breathalyzer, so, must have been something there for him to say no to that.
If you say no to the breathalyzer, can they take your blood if you're at the hospital? When does that come in?
Yep, they can. You do have to get a warrant before.
Oh,
they
okay.
can take
Okay.
your
So
blood.
there would have to be some serious probable cause there.
Yeah. So the search warrant is needed. So it's a higher standard than the breathalyzer test. If the breathalyzer test is just if the police officer at the scene has probable cause.
Good. Anything else we need to know, at least about car accidents and DUIs? Because I want to kind of switch topics.
I think that's it. I would just say, don't talk to the insurance company.
Don't talk to the insurance company.
And don't post on Facebook.
Do not post on
And
Facebook.
do not post about your party in Miami
No,
the week
definitely
after
not.
the accident.
Definitely not. Well, one thing I've noticed with these runoff ads with Jackson and Burt Jones is, and I saw it maybe 4 or 5 times just this morning, was Burt Jones is doing all this eminent domain to take our land for data centers. So explain to me eminent domain in Georgia. Like, what is it?
Yeah, so eminent domain is a really fancy way of saying the government is taking your private property for a public purpose, public use.
But you don't have any say of that. The government can just come in and say, we want it here, do they offer you money or do they just take it?
So they have to offer you money, and they have to show a legitimate public purpose and use.
Is
So
it a
that's
fair
where-
market value, or is it just, here's $20, we're going to take an acre kind of thing? Or is it, I mean, are they going to give you the value of it?
They're supposed to give you the fair market value.
Okay.
And so what they do is they have their own appraiser, but I would highly advise anybody who gets in a situation like this to hire their own lawyer and their own independent appraiser to figure out how much the land is actually worth. An example of that would be the bypass in Monroe.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
They had to take a bunch of private property in order to create that bypass, and we actually represented a couple people who were in that position. And the government's always going to offer you something low to start, and that's why you need your own attorney and your own team to appraise the property and figure out what it's actually worth, and then it becomes a negotiation at that point.
Yeah, how do they figure out? And who pays for that? Is that taxpayer money?
Yes.
When the
100%.
government is taking that and they're giving you money, that's taxpayer money. So of course you
Yeah.
want to get the most, but then you're taking what you've already given yourself. Oh, we're just
exactly.
mixing the pot around here.
Yeah, and that becomes a factor if it you can't agree on it and it goes to a jury trial, because everybody on the jury is going to be a taxpayer in that county.
Wow. Not a
So
very
you-
favorable for you kind of jury pool.
Exactly.
Now, is there a way that they could take it just for a little bit? Or do they, when they
Yeah.
take this land, do they take it and then that's it, like a permanent kind of thing?
Right. So there's a thing called a temporary easement. The most common way that would come about is construction. They maybe they need to store construction equipment on your property while they're doing a big project. That would just be for a temporary amount of time,
Oh, okay.
something like that. But yeah, obviously there's permanent takings, like the bypass, for example. That's permanent. There's no temporary.
No, definitely
nothing
not.
temporary about that.
Definitely not. Bart, this has been such a great conversation. And I know you say be smart, call Bart, but really you have all the knowledge here. So where can our listeners find you?
Best way to find me is my Instagram, which is BeSmartCallBart, or my website, www.bentonandbentonlaw.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bart, and we will talk to you again in a couple of weeks. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. See you.
Thank you. And we will be back in just a few minutes with Walton County Board of Commissioner Anne-Marie Warren.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Benton with Benton & Benton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Benton & Benton, local lawyers you can trust.
I chuckled at a cartoon that showed a news conference by a United States Senator who announced that he was divorcing his family so he could spend more time with politics. We may laugh, but the truth is many people make that statement every day. Maybe not with words, but with their actions. In fact, if a politician retires from his work to spend more time with his family, it becomes the lead story, met with cynicism on the evening news, while the one who rejects his family advancing his career is commonplace. God tells us we should work hard to the glory of God. But he has clearly shown that we must have priorities. A relationship with God first, and family follows that. What does your focus tell you about your priorities? The Bible says that we have brought nothing into this world and we can take nothing out of it. It's good to focus on the things that last, like putting God first, and then family, and then people all around us that God loves. This is Bryant Wright, speaking right from my heart.
Visit rightfromtheheart.org and click television to watch our TV spots.
When you walk through the doors of Campton Restaurant, you're not just here for a meal, you're part of a tradition. I'm fourth generation owner Josh Parker, and for nearly 40 years, families in Walton County and surrounding areas have gathered around our tables to share stories, laughter, and good Southern cooking. From crispy fried chicken to heart-healthy daily specials, there's always a plate waiting with your name on it. We're open Tuesday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. So come on by, make yourself at home, and experience Campton Restaurant, where family tradition meets every meal.
When it comes to tasty treats, the only place you need is Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Enjoy fresh, high-quality Georgia pecans along with a huge selection of your favorite nuts like almonds, cashews, walnuts, pistachios, and Brazilian nuts. Plus delicious mixes, dried fruits, candies, and Southern pecan coffee. Stone Mountain Pecan has it all. And the best part, it's all online at stonemountainpecan.com or visit our country store on Highway 78 in Monroe. Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Something for everyone. Eat well, be happy.
And we are back with Anne Marie Warren. I am Charlie Morgan, filling in for Jeff Hood, who is filling in for Marc McMain. It's like a 6 degrees of separation around here, but I'm very honored to have my friend and Walton County Board of Commissioners, Anne Marie Warren.
I'm excited to be here. We're in the throes of summer at my house. Are you in the throes of summer at your house?
Yes, we're Uncrustable every day, just whatever they can find. I was telling my husband yesterday, I was like, I survived day one. And he's like, this isn't day one. This is your fault because you took them to Disney World right after school. So really, this is, you've done this to yourself.
You kicked off summer the right way.
I think I did, but then I'm wondering, I'm second guessing myself, I should say, because I'm like, I set the bar too high.
You did set that bar high.
Yeah, and so now it's like, wait, you want us to stay home and just look at each other and not aggravate each other, not throw each other down the steps?
Let's go back to Disney.
So
for sure.
Yes.
I work from home, and my kids are just running amok.
Everywhere.
And I give the disclaimer before I have meetings with people.
That's it.
I have assistants, and they're terrible at their jobs.
They are.
And I can't fire them.
No.
Just prepare yourself for the chaos that's in the background.
Yep. I've got mine too here. We call it Radio Camp. They were here yesterday. Bob Furr, when he walked in, I was hoping he was going to bring the trolley. I was going to show them the trolley. But when they came in, I was like, welcome to summer Radio Camp. It'll be this way for a while. They're raised around radio stations, so they know, like, when that light's on, zip it. But
you should give them 30 minutes for a show.
No way.
Can you imagine?
I
think
agree.
that would be fantastic.
The day that I want to kill my radio career and Mark fire me, that would be the day I let them.
I bet it would be gold.
It would be so
full
fun.
of Disney knowledge.
Their future little personalities.
We were sitting in the back office working, and we were just listening to them talk, and it
So
was
cute.
very entertaining. So it might not be too bad.
The conversation from the back of the car is entertaining.
Always the best.
stuff.
Always
Yes.
entertaining. The conversation going on at my table this morning with 4 girls, some of which live at my house and some of which
Just visiting.
are there all the time, was entertaining as I was on the phone talking to constituents. And I'm going, I'm sorry.
They call you at home, like on your cell phone.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer email because I don't always have my phone.
Right.
You probably understand
Yes.
that. And I don't always even see that I have messages. So I generally prefer email, but I like having phone conversations with people. I just kind of need to schedule
it.
them. But
What are they wanting to talk about?
Catch a call. Well, we're in the throes of budget season.
That is true.
We are in
That's
the
true.
throes of budget season, getting ready to talk about property taxes.
Is it going up again?
It's kind of funny. There are 2 things in life that are certain: death and taxes. And I've had a lot of conversation. I've been educated in all those things over the past year. So, property taxes. The county proposed a budget last month.
Okay.
I guess this month in May. At the May meeting, the 2027 budget was proposed.
Okay.
So a committee of 6 people, 3 people from the Board of Commissioners, the chairman and 2 district commissioners, and then the director of finance, the director of HR, and the county manager get together, and they listen to all the department heads, and everybody asks for what they want. It's very much like your kids rattling off the entirety of everything they want
need
at Christmas. And then they whittle it down from there to a reasonable budget. They cut stuff out. It's very thoughtful, very judicious in the process, hearing all the needs, all the arguments for the spending, and then where we really can cut out. And in that process, they had a request for about $21 million, I think. Don't quote me on that number, but I think $21 million
to run the county. Increase, yeah.
Well,
Wow.
our budget for 2026, so we're ending fiscal year 2026 at the
July.
end of June.
Oh, yeah, okay, July 1,
Yeah. So July 1 will start fiscal year 27. So the current budget year, our budget's roughly $100 million.
For everything in the county.
For everything in the county.
Wow.
And so everybody came in with their wish lists and their needs, and it was about $121 million.
Wow.
I think. I mean, that
Somewhere around,
I use estimations, and,
sure.
but about 21 million in request, and they whittled that down to about 14 million, and then they whittled that down some more to about 7 million. So the overall expense expectation for 2027 is only about 7 million more than it was for 2026, which 2026 saw a big increase, but
we're all seeing big increases in our lives.
increases.
Everything is more expensive. And there's a lot more people. There's a lot more things happening in Walton County. We love that we have a Publix stone's throw away. But guess what? We got to pay for that parking lot. You got to pay for all that stuff.
We don't pay for that parking lot. Publix pays for that parking lot.
But yes,
you pay for that parking lot in your grocery bill.
Yes, that is for sure.
But the county doesn't pay for private developments, even commercial developments. The county doesn't pay for the infrastructure. It has to be up to code. Even roads in the county, like when you build a new neighborhood, the roads have to be up to code before the county will take it over and start maintaining it. And then you do pay for the maintenance of your roads in your tax bill. You would expect that. But we don't, the county doesn't subsidize builders and developers. That's a common misconception, I think. But the county does not subsidize builders and developers. There may be some tax breaks through the state to entice industry into our area, but particularly with residential developers, there's no subsidy. In fact, we had just increased the impact fees by about, I think we increased them to about 300% of what they were.
Wow.
They went up 3 times to ensure that, and that money goes into the general fund and enterprise, I don't go into the enterprise fund, but it goes into the general fund to cover, future expenses for development and infrastructure. But on top of that, the development has to be finished and up to code and complete
everything
before the county will ever take it over and start
maintaining
a lot of people realize any of the public parts of that community.
Yeah, I truly do not think a lot of people realize that.
So just know, if you're in a development that is not complete yet, the developer still owns those roads. You'll probably tow your car.
Oh, there you go. Do not park on the street.
If they say don't park on the street,
do not park on the street. It's not your HOA yet.
It's not your HOA yet. It's not a public road yet.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's only about 7 million, which in the grand scheme is not a huge increase.
No, definitely not.
Rate of inflation as of the end of April was 3.8%. So we're just a little bit above that.
But it's for the whole county. That's one thing you got to realize.
And it covers,
people need to realize.
Public Works, Parks and Rec, Sheriff's Department, Fire Department, 911 dispatch, EMS, all of those things.
All the things
all
that
the
we
things
need.
That we need. So we're really, the way that they build the budget is they look at the expenses. And that's just how most nonprofits build a budget. They don't come from income down. They go from needs up, to determine what the budget is going to be. And this year we do not anticipate a millage rate increase. The growth in the county, so new home sales and then resales, have increased the tax digest enough to absorb the additional expenses that we're facing, which don't necessarily result from that development. We're hiring. We need more firemen. We need. That doesn't actually come out of your taxes. That comes out of a fire fee. But we need a couple of 911 dispatchers. We need
the county's growing.
The county's growing, and we need some people in the public defender's office, and we need some people in the court system. But we don't have a lot, and intangibly there are probably some savings that we'll realize in doing those and moving people through the court system faster.
And it's not all. I know a little bit about that. It's not all tax money. There are different grants and government grants and federal grants that I know all these different departments apply for and get, and that helps fund a lot of things, because if they didn't have that, the budget would be even more, because you have, like, a lot of these positions, these jobs are funded completely by grant money.
That is
and
true.
if they didn't have that, the budget would be even more.
And we have what's called an enterprise fund, which is all of the things that make money in the county, like the county water. It funds itself.
Wow.
We do have to, EMS to an extent funds itself, but we have to, we do subsidize EMS to make it affordable to get an ambulance, to take an ambulance ride.
Wow.
We subsidize. I think in 2026, we've had to subsidize by about $4 million. Wow. But
those are not cheap, those ambulance rides. I've taken one, not on purpose, and it was not cheap. That was in Clark County, though.
I myself haven't had to take an ambulance ride, but a quarter of a mile cost a lot of money.
It was, yeah, I could see where I was going from, like, the radio station to the hospital, and when I got the bill, I was like, no, this is wrong. You charged me wrong. They're like, no, that's just the flat fee. The $20 was the, like, your mileage, but the flat fee, I want to say it was like $800 something. Wow. I had no idea.
Bo he was at Emory. He went a quarter of a mile down the street to Emory.
The other side.
To the emergency room, and the bill was like $2,100.
No, it's insane. It's insane.
It's like, bud, you really couldn't have walked.
I could have just pushed you in a wheelchair, sir.
Are you sure you couldn't have made it on your own?
Well, I definitely
called you an Uber.
that would have been cheaper, a lot cheaper. Well, I definitely want to take a deep dive in this. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to deep dive in this new county budget.
Are you looking for new tires? Well, look no further than Madison Car Care. They have the largest selection and you'll always get the best price. They also handle a wide range of auto repairs, from the small things like oil changes and wiper blades to the big things like suspension, parts, and radiators. They offer all kinds of accessories, from toolboxes to bed covers, side steps, and they even install those awesome ranch hand bush guards. Give them a call at 706-342-4774 or stop by at 1040 Confederate Road in Madison.
Baby, lock the door and turn the lights.
Josh Turner, This Country Music Thing Tour. November 5th, the Classic Center Theater. On sale now at joshturner.com.
Affordable housing is just around the corner at Cimarron Park. Cimarron Park is a mobile community located on Harry Arnold Road, just off of Highway 78 in Monroe, that offers 2- and 3-bedroom homes with spacious wooded lots, lit streets, and a family-friendly atmosphere. Some homes are for sale with available financing. Call James for all the details. 404-401-1068. That's 404-401-1068. Or go to CimarronPark.com.
John's Supermarket in downtown Monroe is proud to serve the Walton County community for over 50 years. 3 generations of the Thompson family offering the freshest produce, quality meats, everyday essentials, and now featuring Bistro South, a quick service restaurant with freshly made Southern cuisine and ready-to-heat gourmet meals. Always proud to support local farmers and suppliers, John's Supermarket has the best meat in town and tons of weekly specials. Stop by and see them for all the ingredients, meals, snacks, sweets, gifts, and everything in between you need.
I'm Charlie Morgan, in for Jeff Hood, who is in for Marc McMain on the Marc McMain Show. And we are talking with Anne-Marie Warren, Board of Commissioner, and talking all about the county budget, which has been the buzz around the county. And I think a lot of it comes from just everyone is very aware of how much things are now and how much more it's costing just to run, our households at home. And then it's, now we need more. So I'm very thankful you're here breaking it down and telling us what we need to know. And it's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, an increase of $7 million when we already have $100 million is not that serious. It's really not.
It's not a huge increase. Last year we had a huge increase because of having to staff the new jail.
Right.
And we had done a lot of, I feel like the county had done a lot of kick the can,
Mm-hmm.
don't increase. And then all of a sudden you got to play catch up at some point.
Yes. And it was, whew.
I'm not actually a proponent of that. I'm a proponent of take care of what you need to do now.
Yes.
Bo was more, wait till we absolutely have to paint the house. And I'm like, can we go ahead and paint some of the house so we don't have to paint the whole house at one time? Like
Right.
the trim. Like
Yes.
let's take part of it. So, but yeah, so we don't expect an increase in the millage rate from the county at all. So when you get your tax bill, and everybody, did you get one of these in the mail?
I think I got it in the mail yesterday. I did not open it, but I saw it yesterday.
It is not a bill. You did not get a bill in the mail yesterday, but you did get the notice of assessment, which is giving you your property value.
Right.
So your school tax is based on the fair market value of
And
your
that
house.
stayed the same, right? Wasn't that
Last year,
we got
the
a
school
refund?
tax rolled back.
Rolled back. That's what it was. Okay.
Last year, the school
Yep.
tax rolled back, and the county millage rate went up.
Right.
But the county, if you are in a homesteaded property, so you have to file for a homestead exemption when you buy your house. There's
Right.
a time limit to do it. If you aren't homesteaded, you can go apply for it at any time, but it won't be retroactive. But make sure you're homesteaded for next year if you're not homesteaded for this year. So if it's your primary residence, you live there, you can apply for a homestead exemption. That homestead exemption is going to freeze the value of your house at the fair market value at the time you paid for it, the time you bought it.
Wow.
So if you bought your house in 1990 and you have a homestead exemption in Walton County, it is going to freeze. You're still paying property taxes on that 1990 value for the county portion of the
Right.
property tax bill.
That's amazing.
It
That's
is-
a good
it is
savings
huge.
right there.
Now, I just bought my house in 2023, so I am paying taxes on the full value of my house pretty much.
Right.
My homestead exemption is saving me a whopping $200. Still $200 that I would have to
Not
shell out
have,
otherwise.
right.
But yeah, so the homestead exemption is huge, and every county in the state does not implement homestead exemption the same way Walton County does. I think there are less than 20 that freeze it at the time you purchase your house or your property, but it is really a savings for people who are longtime residents.
Okay.
Now, all of the newbies and resales
Right.
are subsidizing that with the higher property values,
Right.
higher taxes, paying the property taxes on the full value of their house, which, hey, I'm here for. I don't mind. We live in a great county. I'm happy to pay for
love
our
our county.
services and what I want, the
Right.
priorities that we have in the county, and how we go about achieving those priorities. I think is a fair thing to pay for. We have great schools. I don't mind paying
I love our school, especially our elementary school. Big
I-
fans of it.
I did the math last night on my property tax bill from 2025.
So last
So
year.
last year's tax bill. This year's tax bill hasn't come out. We don't know what it's going to be yet. The schools haven't published their budget. We
Right.
don't know if they're going to need an increase this year, but the county is not expecting an increase. There will be published that there will be an increase. We're going to have hearings, but it's not an increase in the millage rate. It's an increase in the spending.
budget.
It's
Yes.
going up from
Yes.
100. So we have to publish the increase, and we have to publish that we'll have hearings and things about it. But your tax rate, the millage rate, should not go up for the county. So on my tax bill, and everybody's tax bill is different based on where you live.
Okay.
If you live in the city, you're going to pay a city tax.
sure.
If you pay certain areas in the unincorporated are going to have fire taxes or fire fees. Some people have special fees for things that the county had to take over because their neighborhood didn't pay for it.
Okay,
like
okay.
Water runoff and things like that. So if the county has to go in and start maintaining something,
Can't get around that.
you can't get around it. You got to pay for it. So the school tax was actually 52% of my tax bill last year.
Wow.
So it is the single largest portion. And in Walton County, you can, I think it's residents over 62 can file for the exemption from the school tax.
I think
and
that's
not pay
yes,
that.
which I love our schools.
So if you're over 62
Right.
and you've lived in the county in the same house for 50 years, I mean, you're really getting a break.
highway robbery.
I mean, that's a very favorable tax situation for longtime residents who are over 62 and on a fixed budget. Like, that's a pretty favorable situation. They may have an increase. They may see an increase, but overall, that increase is only going
That's
to
the
come
best of
from
the
a
best.
millage rate.
Yeah.
And it's it's usually very minimal, the increase. We very rarely have significant increases. I think over the last 10 years, we've had maybe an 8% increase one year, and then last year we had closer to a 20%.
So you just took over back in September.
That's right.
How long was Bo on?
Bo served for almost exactly, I think 7 or 8
Okay.
years.
Okay. So I mean, you guys have been here and been long,
Yes.
on long enough and
Yes.
involved, and you've been involved long enough.
And
to know.
he served on the budget committee for a couple of years.
Before or while he was a commissioner.
While he was a commissioner.
Okay. Wow.
He served on the
Yeah.
budget committee. It's
Very knowledgeable on this.
and my job, my 9 to 5 is HOAs. I work for a company that manages HOAs. I'm well versed in nonprofit
You know.
budget. HOAs are your teeny tiniest little government. They're just the very basic. Outside
But
of
they
your household,
think-
they're the next level.
But they think they are
Some
the king
people
and queen.
really get their kicks from being on that HOA board. Gotta have it.
Sure.
It's a necessary evil. There's a place for an HOA. They have
I
their
know,
pros and
absolutely.
cons.
I love living under one the way it is, but you do wonder when it's
I
gonna.
love my HOA. I love my neighbors. I love the
Mhm.
people that volunteer. I have heard horror stories though. I have seen horror stories.
Yes, you
But-
probably see it firsthand.
Yeah, but the budget process for your HOA is not unlike the budget process for the county. It's just bigger for the county.
Much
It's
bigger.
It's the next level.
So when
So-
constituents call you, what are they asking for? Are they asking particular questions? Are they wanting to know where you're going to cut? Are they asking how you're going to vote? What are they wanting?
So most people are emailing me telling me how they feel about it, which I think
Okay.
is great.
Mhm.
I want to know how you feel. But if you're calling me and telling me that you want that we need to cut the budget, we need to go back to 2025 spending, so before the last increase, I want to know where you think we're overspending. So I generally ask that question. Where do you think we're spending too much money that we need to cut it out?
Right.
Because the budget process, that process that we talked about with the committee and all of the directors, it's a very judicious process. It's a very thoughtful process. They don't just, carte blanche,
Sure. Yes.
green line everything. It's very judicious in how they whittle it down and decide what's going to end up in that final budget. So one of the things that is not in this year's budget, and we've actually, I think moving forward, we will not use. I don't think there are no building projects in this budget. There's no capital expenses in the operating budget.
Wow.
We are required by our fiscal policy that was adopted. I think it was adopted in 2017 or 2019. I feel like it was one of the years that my children were born, but don't quote me on that. It could have been 18. Somewhere around there. They adopted a fiscal policy or a financial policy for the county that requires us to have, we're required to have a balanced budget. We can't operate on a deficit.
Right.
And we can't use reserve funds or funds that were saved from prior years for regular recurring operating expenses. We have to pay for those out of income received.
That kind of makes
in the
sense.
year.
That's how you would run your household budget if you were being responsible. So I get it.
You can't subsidize your household income. I mean, you can't subsidize the operational expenses to keep taxes artificially low. We have to represent the actual expenses of the county. And so we have reserve funds. We have a very healthy reserve account for capital projects. And capital expenses, which would be police cars, fire trucks,
Things like that.
So, building funds. So right now there's a conversation about repurposing the old jail.
What are we going to do with that big building?
What are we going to do with it? It's a great question.
What are we going to do with it?
So it's a great space. We actually need space. The courts need space. I think we need another courtroom at the South Hammond building. And we need storage. And so they are looking at repurposing the old jail for the office space and storage, which is great. That's multi-purpose. One, it's cheaper than building new.
It is because it's already there.
It's already there.
It is Fort Knox. You will not get in there.
It's pretty safe. And also, it prevents us from having this big empty building that's a liability for the county. So, repurposing what we have is to me a very efficient use of funds and space.
I would agree. I don't know if the court system needs to go there because I feel like part of the whole reason of moving the jail over there was so it was closer to transport inmates for hearings.
This would be to move. I think that we've got finance offices.
Okay, so more of that kind of stuff, not necessarily like I'm thinking courtrooms and district attorney's offices and that kind of stuff.
No,
that would feel a little counterintuitive to moving the jail over there.
We would move stuff. We would move stuff out of the courtroom.
I think
out
it would
of
be
the
a
areas
great
to
storage.
create a courtroom and more room for the courts at the courthouse.
The courthouse, I would love to see new carpet. The carpet there is not pretty. I would like to put that in the budget.
So noted. I don't know if it's going to make it in the budget for this year,
please please note that down there.
I also haven't noted the carpet. Like, I haven't paid attention, but I guarantee next time I go to the courthouse, I'm going to be looking
it's a
at
bit
the
of an
carpet.
it makes my right eye twitch a little bit. It's very distracting.
It's twitchy carpet.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't like it.
Well, we
I
can have a
prefer something a
conversation.
little more neutral. That's just my
Maybe.
what I would like to contribute to the budget, and by contribute I mean like spend.
I appreciate that. Spend more on carpet.
Yes,
Got it.
aesthetics.
Yes.
So you have taken a deep dive into this, and I want to know: do you think there's anything that can be cut? Anything?
So that's a great question, and this is a conversation I actually had this morning whilst making waffles. So I think that our county is pretty lean. We run a pretty lean ship. We have some reasonable redundancies. We have people getting ready to retire. We need to have a succession plan. We need people trained for that. So there's probably some duplications there in job roles, but it's for a reason, and it's. That's kind of
just smart planning.
Yes.
That's not kicking the can. That's handling what's coming and being smart about it.
Preparing. And then there are probably some efficiencies that we can find through technology. Our county is like, we love to be old school. We love it, and that's what people love about it. It's a rural county.
Yes.
It's got that small town feel, that old school feel to it.
But bringing it up to date is going to cost even more.
So there may be some initial cost in updating softwares and things like that. But we can find efficiencies through technology in doing that. And I think that's, but all of those savings, duplications of subscriptions and things like that, if we did a really thorough audit of what were the minimal spending,
right,
then we could probably find some efficiencies that could be made, but it would probably not impact the overall budget enough that you would even be able to tell it in your tax bill. It's going to be minimal. We're a pretty lean county. I mean, we operate overall very efficiently.
I would agree. I don't really have a lot of complaints about Wald County. I really don't.
I mean, go to the Parks and Rec field and you can hear some people
And
complaining. When tax bills come out, you'll hear people complaining.
Parks and Rec, I do have a lot of complaints about. You and I have shared lots of complaints about this. But
a lot of that is the people that are there, is the parents that are overzealous about their kids. Your
8-year-old is not going to get a scholarship while playing at Felker. Can you please calm down? Like, that's really.
I think we need to. This is not your kid's performance on that softball field is not an indication of you as a parent or the kind of softball player you are. So, let's keep it. Calm yourself.
Yes, it's just Little League.
You're not the one out there playing. Calm yourself.
Just let them have fun. Yes, I would agree. Yes, Rex. Yeah, we've had this discussion. I'm not going to rehash this. My husband doesn't like when I bash the rec department, but.
The rec department, we've got some areas that we could create efficiencies with technology. My understanding is that, and I didn't have kids in sports, but it wasn't long ago that you couldn't even register your kids online. So we're moving forward. It's just a slow process.
It is.
And I think it'll, as we continue that push, I think we can do better.
We absolutely can.
But I think that we can do better overall everywhere. I think
there's always room for improvement.
That's the goal when I wake up in the morning, is to be better than I was yesterday. Now, most days I fail miserably at that, and I'm only as good or maybe a little bit worse than I was the day before, but I try to be better the next
2 steps
day.
forward, 1 step back. I love it.
I try. I might fail miserably, but we try to be better one day. The next day, try to be better the next day.
I like that.
So,
I like that.
One of the things that I think is important to note about the budget and the budget process and the county overall is that we're required to have the balanced budget. We're required to we can't use the reserve funds.
Right.
And then that new development pays for itself. We touched on it just a minute ago with property taxes. Newer residents are paying
a higher rate.
They're paying the same rate, but on a higher value of their property. They're paying it on the current market value. So they're going to be paying a lot more on their property. than the person, if we both live in a $500,000 house, and I just bought mine yesterday, and this person bought their house back 20 years ago when it was $200,000.
Right, not 500.
They're paying their property taxes on a $200,000
Right.
valuation, and I'm paying mine on a $500,000
Right.
valuation. So I am actually subsidizing. All of these new developments are subsidizing the longtime residents of the county, which I don't have a problem with. I think that's great. That's your benefit for living here for a long time. Right. And all of that development, all that infrastructure that goes into new development has to be paid for and complete before the county starts paying for it. And then you continue to pay for it through your tax bill.
Let's pause right there. I want to take a break, and then I want to really dive into that. Coming up in just about 3 minutes, we'll be hanging out with Anne-Marie Warren, and we're going to discuss more about the budget and subsidizing.
Is technology giving you a tough time at your home or business? Don't worry, Big Mountain Computers is here to help. We're your local tech experts, now open in Madison. Our white glove service ensures personalized solutions for all your IT needs. Hardware fixes, remote support, private lessons, and more. Visit us at Madison Plaza across from Ingalls or call 706-343-4184 to schedule your consultation. That's 706-343-4184. Big Mountain Computers, turning your mountains into molehills.
Ready to grow your small business and reach thousands of new customers? Say hello to Town Values Magazine, formerly MTM Shopper, proudly serving the community for 22 years. Every month, thousands of magazines are mailed directly to homes in Walton, Oconee, Barrow, Rockdale, Newton, Gwinnett, and beyond to further expand your reach. Our magazine is packed with valuable coupons and services offered, helping families save money while supporting the community they love. We specialize in local direct marketing that works, building your brand, driving sales, and connecting you with the customers who matter most. Plus, we're online at townvalues.com and on Facebook and Instagram, giving your business even more exposure in print and digital. Ready to reserve your space in the next edition? Call Liliana at 770-267-6650. Town Values Magazine. Local, trusted, powerful, helping businesses grow and families save.
I'm Miranda, founder of the Humane Society of Walton County. We're a community-funded no-kill shelter for homeless dogs and cats. On May 30th, we're raffling off a brand new 2024 Jeep Wrangler or $40,000 in cash. Tickets start at $30 each, with only 5,000 being sold. To purchase your tickets, visit humanewalton.org. You don't want to miss this chance to win a brand new 2024 Jeep Wrangler or $40,000 in cash, all benefiting the Humane Society of Walton County.
Don't miss the Happy Together 2026 tour on Saturday, May 30th at 7 p.m. at the Georgia Mountain Fairgrounds in Hiawassee, Georgia, featuring the Association, the Trogs, Chicago lead singer Jason Sheff, Gary Puckett, Ron Dante from the Archies and the Turtles, the Vogues, the Cowsills, and more. It's the Happy Together tour on Friday, May 30th at the Georgia Mountain Fairgrounds in Hiawassee. For more information, go to georgiamountainfairgrounds.com. Brought to you by the Towns County Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Charlie Morgan with Anne-Marie Warren on the Marc McMain Show, and we are talking all things budget and taxes, and you are just a wealth of knowledge here. Now, I feel like we have a lot of questions, like in the break we were talking about the homestead exemption. So tell me more about that. I now I'm wondering, do I have it? I know, now I'm wondering.
You can look it up. If you go to the tax assessor website, Q Public, look up your property.
Mm-hmm.
It'll say if it's homestead exempt.
I'm gonna need to look that up. Yeah,
yeah, it's right there. Homestead exempted. Yes. So if you're looking to buy a property, this is my real estate agent coming in. If you're looking to buy a property and you want to know what the property taxes are, look and see if it's homesteaded, because the property taxes will be different.
Wow.
Because
okay.
they're subsidized. Yeah. But yeah, so the homestead exemption, you only have to do it. You file for it after you buy your house, and then it's there until you sell your house. So if you quit claim your house, like a lot of people, one person in the relationship buys the house and then they quit claim it to both parties, then you would want to file for the homestead exemption again because you've quit claimed it.
Okay.
A lot of times they'll go back to the original purchase price if that's all you've done, but you do want to make sure that it's, because anytime there's a change in the title, you want to refile that homestead exemption. Make sure that it's still there. because it's going to freeze it at the fair market value. So not necessarily the purchase price, but the fair market value. If you bought your home on foreclosure or through a deed of gift or other things, then they'll figure the fair market value at the time that you took the property rather than purchase, at the time you became the owner. And that is what you'll be taxed on if you're homesteaded.
Wow, that's a lot of savings. That is a lot of savings for the county. I don't know how they feel about that.
I think Walton County residents overall on the aggregate save about $16 million in property taxes
because of the homestead.
Because of homesteaded properties.
So it would behoove you to do it.
Yes, we did approve an audit of our homesteaded properties this year, and that to make sure that people who the deed hasn't changed, but the person has been dead for a while.
Right.
You know, that those things are taken into account.
Okay.
So that people aren't exploiting the favorable tax position.
Okay.
But by and large, you know, we have a very favorable tax situation in Walton County, particularly for longtime residents and elderly residents. A lot of the counties around us don't have the school tax exemption, which is a big one.
That's
a big
one.
chunk.
Yes.
For a City of Monroe resident who is also paying City of Monroe taxes.
Yes.
City of Monroe taxes, I mean, I just looked at one tax bill, but it was about, the city taxes were about 20%. The county was about 35%, and then the school was about 45%. So even with the added city tax, the school is still the bulk. So when elderly residents
can knock that out,
it's a huge savings for them, for sure. And then the new development and commercial development, not homesteaded properties, are going to be subsidizing those homesteaded properties as well, and subsidizing a lot of the property tax, because you know, even your commercial properties, Walmart's paying a tax, Chick-fil-A's paying a tax. They pay tax on the value of the property, not the value of the business, the value of the property.
Land of where they are. Got it.
Which I gotta say, Chick-fil-A in Monroe has a terrible lot. It's horrible to get in and out.
That and Starbucks. Why does
why people go? Why? Because people will go even if it's a horrible to get in and out of.
Oh, I do, right? And I get mad every time I'm sitting in that line. I get so mad, but I'm there like every other day.
You are there, and that is why they can buy cheap property.
I just need a longer driveway. They need a longer driveway.
I know. I was hoping once they were remodeling the Starbucks, I was hoping that was going to be like a Chick-fil-A
extension of their drive-through.
Smart, but then it was a Starbucks, which congested the area even worse.
Yep, that's basic white moms. We love our Starbucks.
And the dangerous left turn out of there.
It is really hard to make a left turn. I quit making left turns. I go right, and then make a loop.
For sure.
But so we have a lot of development that is subsidizing, which in Walton County people complain about the development. They want everything to stay the same. We want to protect that small town rural feel.
But that's also not.
I love the fields across the street from our neighborhood. I love the cows.
I love there's a goat farm right across the street from my kids' school. I love that.
Right? Like, we love it. But at the same time, people need to be able to make money off of their property when they sell it. Farmers, this was an issue for Bo because he worked with a lot of farmers in his 9-to-5 job and in his career, and they had huge tracts of land, 1,000-acre tracts, bigger than that, and that's actually a pretty small farm, but big tracts of land. But farming isn't profitable in most cases anymore, and their kids don't want to farm. Their kids are doing something different. So their inheritance and their retirement is in their property.
That land.
And so they got to sell it, and they want to sell it for the most they can. That's going to be to a developer, most likely.
Right.
And so those developments are going to subsidize those new developments are going to subsidize the homesteaded properties. And there's a lot of angst about that. But this year, we are reviewing our comprehensive plan for the county. So that is the roadmap for what the county is going to look like. Where are we going to put different kinds of things? Is this going to be a residential area? Is this going to be a highway corridor with businesses appropriate for a highway corridor? Is this going to be office buildings?
And we're not talking city limits. You're talking county property.
The entire county.
Oh, the entire county.
The entire county will go over. We'll have, and we do work in conjunction with some of the cities in establishing that comprehensive use plan. The cities have a use plan. or a comprehensive plan. The county has a comprehensive plan. There's an association of counties in Northeast Georgia has a comprehensive plan.
Wow. Does the Board of Education have a say in this? I'm just saying, like, I think about our schools as, we're working moms. Like, there has to be a fourth cluster coming up somewhere.
You would think.
It's not.
I haven't heard about factoring in schools. So the schools are taken into consideration.
Yes.
What's the population growth
Sure.
going to be? What are we going to need? But they have a whole different, they have to buy their own property, right? The
Okay, so
school
it's not
buys-
done through the county. It's done through the
county.
Board of Education.
It's done through the
Wow.
Board of Education.
Very different. Okay.
It is two things. You get that we collect the taxes. The county collects the taxes for the schools,
And
but
then
we don't-
distribute.
But they set their own rate. They tell us what they need, and
You listen.
and we listen. The county collects the taxes for the city. The county, Loganville, Monroe, all of the cities, the schools, and the county needs.
Wow.
So the county gets blamed for the big old tax bill, but we're only a small portion of it. Okay, a medium portion.
A
of
medium
it.
portion of it.
Portion of it.
You're not the school board. That's okay. That's okay.
But Walton has great schools. So
They
I don't
really do.
I don't feel like I have to put my kids in private school, and
No.
paying that school tax bill is a
No.
whole lot less than paying private school tuition. So I'll take it.
Yeah, I have and I think we have some great private schools, but I'm not going to pay for school when we have such great schools. There's a lot of people that ask us, when are you going to put them in, this school? This school? I would never pay for that when I'm getting such great education and experience at our schools.
I could not pick a better school or a better experience for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thankful that we live in a county that has great schools, and
agree.
I don't have to put my kids in private school. I think it's a great option for some families, and it works great for them. But I'm thankful that I don't have to. I'm not forced in that direction because of the failing school system. So
how often do they do this comprehensive evaluation?
the comprehensive plan is reviewed every 5 years.
Okay.
So we were supposed to have a hearing last night over the comprehensive plan, and it got delayed because of
flooding,
pending weather.
Yes.
the threat of inclement weather delayed the hearing. So I don't know when it will be rescheduled, but it'll be on the county calendar. So if you
Okay.
go to the county website, there's a calendar. You can click on residents.
Well, that was just the city of Monroe. There's still one scheduled for Loganville, Social
There-
Circle,
Yeah, so
Good
they're
Hope.
going to be. I don't know where all they're going to be. So this is the county's comprehensive plan
Okay.
that we're working on,
Mhm.
and the hearing for the county plan.
Mhm.
I don't know if they're all at the courthouse or if they are in different areas
Okay,
in the
okay.
county. That's a good question.
Okay.
But there will be a couple of hearings. I think there are 4. Don't quote me on that, but there's several hearings over the course of the year as we get ready. And the comprehensive plan won't be approved until next year. So
there's time to figure it out.
Absolutely. And that's where
yes.
we're going to be able to implement some changes and things that protect that rural feel
Yes.
for the county.
Yep, I did pull it up. So the next one is in Social Circle at Social Circle City Hall,
great.
June 29th.
Perfect.
There you go.
You're so handy with your phone.
Look at that. Look at that. Sometimes I am.
Quick draw McGraw.
That's right.
But I think that's important for us to have, us as citizens, to have say and understand. I wish more people would get involved and understand.
Absolutely. Go to the hearings. Give your ideas. I have lots of ideas about how we could make some changes that would help preserve that rural feel while still and help us find the middle ground of development.
I think that's what a lot of us want, is the middle ground. We don't want to be. I saw these signs and I chuckled when I saw them, and I'm like, that's actually really true as someone that moved from Snellville. But I saw the don't Gwinnett or Walton. And it's very true,
Yeah.
But you also you need to find the happy median, and
we don't want to be left behind.
No.
We don't want Walton County to become a museum.
No.
We have a museum. We don't want to be
I love
one.
visiting it,
It's
and that's
fun.
it.
I like the history, but
Right.
we want to be a place where people want to come, where our
Yes.
kids want to move back to, where grandkids want to come and visit.
Mhm.
We don't want to be left behind, but we also don't want to be overpopulated. We
Right.
don't want to have the super urban feel. That's not Walton County. That's not our community. So I think there's some things that we can do to preserve that. We've already done a lot of things that preserve that. We have several barriers to entry for developers. We have we don't have sewer in our county system. Everybody in the county is on septic. So
which is probably a good thing to
we limit.
Yes.
You know, high density housing in Walton County is very different than high density housing in Gwinnett County.
Oh, yes.
So people talk to me about high density housing. I'm like, could you define that, please?
That's right. Could
you define that? So, but the comprehensive plan hearings are going to be huge, and seeing what that comprehensive plan looks like in the beginning of next year. I think it's approved in June of next year.
Okay.
So it'll be a years-long process of reevaluating and revising the comprehensive plan.
And getting involved. I think that's the big overall message, is to get involved and know who your commissioner is and reach out to them with questions and reach out to them for input. And you know, that I think that's the most important, is just being involved. Show up to those Board of Commissioner meetings.
Reach out with the things you like as well as the things you don't like. And also, vote.
Yes.
Walton
very
County
important.
has just under 113,000 people. 82,000, almost 83,000 are registered to vote, and only 10,000 voted in the primary election.
I don't understand that. I don't. I was someone that that was instilled in me. I remember in 4th grade, my teacher was like, "You can't complain if you don't vote," and I have voted the first time when I was 18. I got to vote for president, and I have voted in every primary, everything since. It's such a cool thing to be able to do.
I know.
I don't know why
excited.
you wouldn't want to do that and help shape. I know people get so excited about the presidency. The presidency is so removed from your everyday life. Your commissioners, your sheriffs, your everyone locally, your state senate reps, these are the people that impact your daily life on such an intimate level, and people are just so enamored with voting for presidents, and it's just, you're so far removed from that.
It's true. It's true.
It really is. That's my little stance right there.
Vote for your
It's my
neighbors.
soapbox.
Get out and vote.
Yes.
Vote. And remember that your county commissioners are your neighbors. We live here. We're all invested.
Yes.
Everybody on the county commission, whether I agree with them or not, we all want what's best for the county. There's nobody
100%.
out there that's trying to take advantage of a situation for their own benefit. Everybody's looking out for what's best for the county. So, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And I always say, take a friend with you.
Yes.
Take a neighbor,
Yep.
somebody that may need
Just to be
extra
involved.
ride.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Anne-Marie Warren, this has been one of my favorite conversations. Thank you.
We should do it more
so
often.
much. I think we should. I think we're going to make this a more regular thing, just so we can stay up to date on what's going on in the county. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And tomorrow we have, you know what? It's not Taylor Hawkins, but we have a surprise guest host tomorrow, and it's going to be a wonderful discussion. So we will see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock.